Hello, 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 everyone. I am Ramona Hallman. I am the chairwoman of the board for the ColorBold Business Association, and I would like to welcome you to the Entrepreneurs of Color Spotlight. And this is where we highlight an entrepreneur's business journey, and we do this, y'all, every first and third Thursday at 6:30. Y'all, the EoC. This is brought to you by the partnership in the shared missions of Appleton Public Library, the ColorBold Business Association, as well as UW-Madison Division of Extensions out of Gaming and Winnebago County. Y'all, we are able to do this because of our sponsors. Y'all, WICMA sponsors us. That's the Wisconsin United Coalition of Mutual Assistance Association, as well as the Hmong Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce, and y'all, the Community Foundation for the Fox Valley region. Again, I am super, super excited to be on with y'all today. And today's entrepreneur, y'all, I cannot wait. I am so excited for this powerhouse that I get to talk with on today. Ignacio Enriquez, y'all, look. 15-year veteran police officer in the state of Wisconsin. 4 years, y'all, of experience as a juvenile correction officer in the state of California. He holds his master's degree in professional counseling from UW-Oshkosh, a licensed, y'all hear me, licensed professional counselor, as well as the president of Ascent Consulting LLC. Y'all, help me welcome Nacho. Hey, hey.
Hey Ramona, how are you?
Welcome, welcome. I
Thank
am
you so
well, and
much.
how are you?
I am doing
Super, super
so well
excited.
today. So thank you.
Yes, and so of course, everyone wants to hear from you. So let's hop right on into this. Can you tell us more about your business?
Absolutely. Currently, my business primarily focuses on providing mental health support or just critical incident kind of support, in particular to first responders and law enforcement. I focus quite a bit on doing suicide prevention trainings, crisis de-escalation training, or just anything that enhances the communication ability for folks. I do so for corporate entities, nonprofits, and also public sectors like government officials, law enforcement, and other first responders. So I tell people it's providing sort of and enhancing just a wellness overall, and in particular to law enforcement and first responder population.
That is amazing. And so this is something that is so needed, and you have like this perfect niche. So what motivated you to get started?
I think for me it was a variety of different things that sort of aligned to where I'm at today, Ramona. Like you mentioned, I have a combined 19 years of law enforcement experience, being born and raised in the country of California. I say, I early on in my career, I started to just gravitate towards a certain part of helping people, right? Like that's the reason most people will tell you that the reason why they got into this line of work in law enforcement is because we want to help people. I genuinely felt that passion, and to this day I do. And back in my career when I was with the Appleton Police Department, my wife Nancy made it very, it was a very much an inspiration, motivation for me to sort of embark on the journey of seeking my professional license as a counselor, as a clinician. Once I did that, I just found this natural sort of transition into wanting to help, but more importantly, wanting to help folks that are in law enforcement as doing the helping for others, if you will. And then just from a variety of different things that were happening, I just found this niche, if you will, and just something that I feel very passionate about in helping the helpers. And essentially that's what led to me deciding that I wanted to embark on this journey on a full-time basis. But it wasn't one thing in particular. It was just different things throughout my journey that just kind of align in that space, which made it possible for me to be where I'm at today.
That is awesome. And I'm so glad your wife, like that, probably the encouragement and pushing and saying, okay, you're about to do this, right?
Yeah,
So,
it's amazing. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
so there may be people out there that is watching this video and may want to explore a business like yours. Okay.
Mhm.
So, what would you say would be the first step?
When I often remind myself too, and reflect on this part, that prior to owning my own business, I really did not have much of a entrepreneur sort of experience, or how do I even start. And quite honestly, for me, it took quite a bit of reaching out to people that knew more about how to even start a business than me. And that could be just about anyone in this community. I found myself like being sort of intrigued by, well, what does it mean to own your own business? What are legal things that I need to consider? What are ways that I need to, or things that I need to think about in order to set up my LLC? So all those different things, I knew that I did not have the personal knowledge as to how to get that going. And for that, it meant I had to collaborate, and I had to seek support from many other people that, again, are experts in the field, and truly looking for other programs that could provide me with the knowledge and the experience to be able to set up this business, if you will. But before even I got to that point, I sort of came to the conclusion that I did have a niche, that I did have something that I could offer to others, that I did have something that could be gifted to others, and that essentially formulated the idea to even begin the process altogether. I think the main thing for me was just being willing, and it takes vulnerability, and knowing that I don't know as much as I would like to in this particular area. Therefore, I need to just access my people of support to be able to guide me through the process and getting that going. And truly, when you have the idea that you want to venture out into something with opening your, or even having your own business, it will be scary. It can be intimidating, and yet it is very possible if you truly believe in what you have and what you can offer the rest of the world.
That's so powerful to really to talk about, like being able to say, okay, if I don't know, then reaching out and trying to find that, those answers. And I think that is that's some great advice to give, because I think sometimes as entrepreneurs, some people just think like, oh, they just woke up and I just know where to go, know who to talk to, and it just runs very easy for them. And so I really
Mhm.
appreciate you calling that fact out of like, wasn't really thinking in that space, but then being able to go out and find what you needed.
Absolutely,
Okay.
that's very important.
So in this yes, absolutely. In this space, did you get any business support when you started? And that could be informal or formal.
Yeah, absolutely. From the very onset of even the concept or the idea, Ramona, again, like I mentioned before, I knew that I was going to need support from various people. And initially, it started with just accessing mentors that I had, become friends with out in the community through my professional work as a law enforcement officer, and just through mutual friendships. I started to really be intentional in seeking support from these individuals, and ones that I still, hold very dear to my heart to this day, that I still go back and access when I need some guidance or feedback on some things with things that are coming up in my business that maybe I didn't have the awareness prior to. So I still have those informal sort of relationships with folks that I go to as my advisors and mentors for that. In addition to that, I did connect with the Small Business Administration here in Wisconsin through the UW campus, and I still hold sort of consulting sessions with some of these folks, because they themselves have owned a business in the past, or they themselves are very successful entrepreneurs that then I can now access, and again receive feedback and guidance on certain things that I need to incorporate or think about in my business. And even prior to becoming an entrepreneur, I decided that I needed some formalized training when it comes to what does it even mean to be your own boss or the president of a company. And for that, I did seek support from the Venture Center out in at Fox Valley Technical College. And for me, I was like, this is going back to school and just learning the business end of things was very, very instrumental into what the company is today. And I can tell you that that's essentially what led to me having a strong foundation as to where my company is today.
Okay, so you said it's called the Venture Center.
Correct.
So in that Venture Center, okay, so in the Venture Center, that's is that like classes, resources, a mixture? What would someone expect to find in that type of resource?
Yeah, so like the Venture Center there, for me, I took a 1 semester long class. We would meet once a week, and for I think it was like 2 or 3 hours for it was on an evening kind of classes. But in there, they would walk you through from beginning to end as to how to even develop a business plan, how to do research on competition, how to structure your fees and payments or things, different things like that. And you would have different entrepreneurs or professionals out in the community that would then come and speak in front of the class and give us some insights and feedback on certain things that we were developing for even creating a business plan, for example. They offer classes that are 8 hours. They offer semester-long courses. I mean, you get sort of a la carte approach to what it is that you need as someone that is potentially considering opening up or having your own business one day. So it's a mixture of a minimal or I guess minimal investment into how much you want to learn from it, as much as you want from it. So it can be,
Mhm.
I don't know, anything from a seminar to a semester long kind of process.
You know what? I really appreciate that, Nacho, because these are some powerful gems that you're dropping here of like, okay, we got to go
Mhm.
out and search. And then it's also that space of the people that you are surrounded with. And then when you say you have these actual resources and being able to walk in and having this experience that can greatly help you. So I truly appreciate you sharing these nuggets. And you touched on it a little bit about support. And how long have you had your business?
So officially, my company opened December of 2018. That's when I filed for the
Okay.
LLC. And then 2019, January 2019 is when I was working on the company, if you will, on a part-time limited basis because I was still full-time employed by my police department. And so I tell people, even though it was open then, I was kind of doing it on a very limited part-time basis, as I sort of found my way, kind of started growing at that point to where then it led to where I'm at here today. But yeah, in 20 December of 2018 was the official opening of the LLC.
Okay, and that is awesome. And even in that, I love it that you said, like, look, you was working, you had it, you was building it. What that workerpreneur, right? It's like I'm working,
Yeah,
and I'm like
yeah,
it's a
yeah,
blend. And so you
yeah.
started talking about how what support looked like in the very beginning. So now that your business has been moving and moving and moving ahead here, what does support look like for you today as more established in your business?
I tell people that the main support, person of support now, it truly comes down to my wife Nancy. It starts there. Any conversation that is going to go outside of the home, it really needs to start for me with family, and she is truly my pillar where I tell people, Ramona, I sometimes get these ideas like, oh, this will be so neat to do and so cool to do. So I have to lean on her for like, all right, Nacho, you're kind of going too much, or slow down, or yes, absolutely. That's where I need to use as my buffer zone, if you will, to get some honest and transparent feedback. And then in addition to that, like I mentioned before, I still meet on a regular basis with those mentors that I have to this day to just process what I've been learning, or process even appreciating the successes, if you will. Like still honoring those relationships. I still keep them very close to me. They're my board of directors, if you will. They're if I need now like support, like even accounting and or financial pieces, I have people of support for that with formalized relationships that I have with other business owners that specify their work in financial advice or accounting or things like that. And then in addition to that, I still maintain my consulting sort of meetings with other professionals from specifically from the small business administration that give me feedback and insight as to how to scale the type of work that I do. And so I still seek that kind of education because I believe that I can learn from others' mistakes and successes, and in that journey, I can apply those lessons to my own growth as a business professional and also as an individual.
You know, I love it. Every time you respond, you keep dropping these gems, and it's that place of Nancy is your wife, right?
Yes.
So we're gonna give a shout out to Nancy because that comment you made about the transparency of like we can have ideas as an entrepreneur, we can have these different things and strategies we're looking at, but to have somebody who will be honest, transparent, to be like, this is great, this is what you need to think about, that is so powerful to have in your circle. And so that is amazing. So when it comes to the evolution, how has your business changed or evolved in this time?
So I'm going to give you a little bit of perspective with this, Ramona. So even before I started, even before I even considered having my own practice, my own business, if you will, I was doing some trainings for some just groups that were asking some trainings and things like that. And then I thought, well, what would it be like if I just started my own LLC and I provided those trainings on my own name, my own accord, my own time, if you will. So that's how we started with like one or two opportunities, and then I thought, well, what if I really like start moving in that space where I'm really now intentional and just putting myself out there, like really trusting myself in that. So eventually in 2019, there were more and more and more engagements being asked to me, or opportunities that were afforded to me. And then last year, just it kind of took a life on its own, where I had these discussions at home with Nancy again that were like, all right, well, if this continues to grow in this capacity, it's going to put me in a place where I then have to consider my current full-time job with the department and this what it looks like now a full-time job with my practice, with my business. And for the different blessings and the different opportunities that just happened, I was able to make that leap and make it into a full-time job, if you will. And that required quite a bit of, again, like I mentioned before, quite a bit of different things aligning to where they're at today, establishing trusting relationships with I don't want to say customers, but with the people that I do work with, and really showing up for them and really sort of being in congruence to what I believe is important for me to deliver, and really for it to resonate with the folks that I'm servicing. And I feel that once that sort of trust and that nourishing those relationships that I have with the people that I work with, it just grew to the point where now I'm here today. And but I tell people one thing that I can share is that from the second that you decide that you're going to be sharing your name, your experience, your expertise with others, you have to be very mindful that you maintain the credibility, the trust, and you are transparent with folks, and that you don't over sort of extend yourself and promise to deliver things that are not within your space to deliver. I'm not going to tell you that I'm everything to everyone. I'm not going to tell you that I'm going to do certain things for you simply from a financial gain if it's not something that aligns with who I am as a person. And that's, I think, what kind of led progressively to my practice growing to where it's at today. And I keep reminding to maintain humility behind it all, and really, just being open to this idea that everything came to this point because of just making sure that I honor the relationships that I have with the folks that do choose to work with me.
Thank you for that. And along with that space of being able to talk about making sure that we don't overextend ourselves or trying to go after the gain of even that financial piece and not being able to do what it is, what you can say you can do by stretching yourself, really being honest with yourself. Is there any lessons that you would share to someone out here from being a small business owner? Any particular lessons that you would share?
For me, it comes down to being able to establish healthy boundaries and being able to stay the course to what I guess what led me to opening up the practice in the first place. I think sometimes it can be very easy for us to start doing certain projects or start working with maybe some folks that we would have done so in the past simply because they don't align with what I believe to be important. And being able to say no by far has become one of the most powerful and most strength sort of nourishing word to use for me. I'm a helper. I like to help people. I see pain, I want to go heal. I see someone in need, I want to go help. That's who I naturally, that's who I am. And yet being able to say no, I think in the long run has greater impact not only on my well-being, but also on the relationships that I'm building with people. And I think, especially when I first got into this business, and when I talk about the business end of things, being able to say no to folks at times was very challenging. And it is at times challenging. And yet I feel that when you can really set healthy boundaries for yourself, and that it goes back to not overextending yourself, being able to say no and being able to honor your time for what it's worth. I think it's very, very important to never lose sight of that part.
Okay. So I'm that helper type as well. And I know that there are people watching. And when you said to keep those healthy boundaries and to say no, how would you suggest to say no? Was it easy for you to just say no in the beginning? Like, is it just rip off the band-aid and just say no?
It's not easy. Especially, I tell like the one thing I know, Ramona, is that helpers tend to be the ones that have the most difficulty in asking help themselves, right? Or being able to say no when we recognize that someone needs our help. And of course that's very noble, and it's a great thing to have, to be able to help others, in my opinion. And yet what's also very important is that we also honor our time, that we also honor our own well-being, that we also honor what's important to us, right? And being able to say no without having to provide an excuse as to why I'm saying no, I think it's a great start. Oftentimes, if I found early in my career, if I were to say no, it's almost like I had to give you an explanation as to why is it that I am telling you no, when in reality, my calendar is completely booked solid, and I'm just trying to fit in 10 minutes out of there, sacrificing my sleep, sacrificing my family time, sacrificing those things that are important and meaningful to me because I want to give on to others. So I think, if one day there's an opportunity where you truly know that you can't help for whatever reason it is, say no without having to explain yourself or without having to give a reason as to why. I think that's a great start of how we learn to apply those or that very, very powerful word into our vocabulary.
Thank you for that. Nacho has dropped knowledge for us, y'all. If we, whatever you're picking up, make sure you pick up that part right there. Being able to say no, not having to give a whole reason behind it. This is so powerful. So, Nacho, what is something that you are particularly proud of in your business?
Oh wow, that's going to be tough for me to say, Ramona. One of the things that's most humbling for me is that I tell my kids, I have a 10 and a 12-year-old, um, uh, 12-year-old girl and a 10-year-old boy. And one of the things that I'm so proud and honored to be able to say is that my kids will hopefully have a path that's a bit easier to navigate than I did maybe growing up, or that Nancy, my wife, did growing up, and being able for them to step into various settings in our community and even outside of it, and knowing that we've done the work to better prepare them or better be able to walk into those spaces with their head just held high, where they can walk into any space and feel proud that um, that we as a family have come to where we're at with the support of so many people. And I don't think that I would have ever had the humbling opportunity to meet as many people as I have today, um, if I had not taken this step in moving into this private practice. I have met so many wonderful people across the state and even outside of it, that I just continue to be extremely humbled by those opportunities. I don't take this interactions like the one that you and I are having today, Ramona, as mere coincidence. I really do believe there's a deeper meaning behind it. And for me, I'm not only proud of these moments, but I'm just more humbled and truly grateful for these moments, because I know that these are things that will not only impact my kids, but hopefully impact other folks that may be listening to us talk today.
Yes, and thank you so much. I am so appreciative that you have come on and you're sharing your journey, and even beyond, like you said, even beyond this time, this interview, I look forward to the connection even as we get off the screen. So I'm super excited, Nacho.
Mhm.
Nacho, what's on the horizon? If you want to share, give us a sneak peek of what's on the horizon for your business.
Yeah, it's I go back to I do believe that I will continue to grow as an individual more than anything. I do believe that I will continue to be challenged and pushed to definitely my zone of uncomfort, right? I'll be pushed to areas that are going to unfortunately I will make mistakes, right? And yet the idea is that I continue on this path, on this journey, and because I believe it to be integrated with who I am as a person. Truly, that if I were to tell you this is exactly what I want to where I want to be 5 years from now, I would be lying to you if I told you that I do know exactly what that looks like. What I do know, however, is that how I am walking today, how I am continue those relationships that have helped me grow as a professional, as an individual. I'm going to continue to nourish those, because I know that whatever comes in 5 years from now, it's going to be very special. Not simply from an individual level, but it's going to be very special for everyone else that I work with. I really do believe that when I focus in the present moment, any goals or things that are supposed to come my way, they will come at me when they need to present themselves. I try not to push that part of my thought process. I try not to get too far ahead of myself. I just do know that that it is going to grow to something very, very beautiful, and I really do believe that. It's strange, but I do see kind of like these visions of like, oh, it would be pretty neat to have other folks that are aligned with what it is that I believe to be important for us to provide as support for others. And as to how that looks specifically, I would be not give you an accurate answer with that. I just know that I'm truly embracing it today. And I know that if I stick to the course, if I stick to the script, that all those things are going to present themselves what they need to, in a way that I'll look back and be like, oh, I guess this is what it was supposed to be.
Yes. You know what, Nacho, can you remind us again of what it is you do and your territory that you cover?
Yeah, so like I'll give you one of the things that I do is I provide individual wellness sessions for first responders. For that, I tell I get in my little car, and I drive to different parts of the state. I can tell you that since last year, I don't know, I have probably sat across 800 people on a one-on-one basis, and just providing that sort of individual wellness sessions. I more consider it as a short-term solution-focused kind of approach to someone's needs in that moment. So if someone is going through a crisis, for example, I tend to meet with them, and we figure out a game plan as to what do we do here. Do we need to access another mental health provider, like in a formalized kind of capacity? Do we need to go and see your primary doctor? Do we need to learn some tools and techniques to incorporate into our day to day to mitigate some of the impacts that these stressors may be having on me? So I do quite a bit of that, like the one on one kind of consulting or counseling with folks. In addition to that, I do quite a bit of trainings and presentations to corporations, nonprofit organizations, and also government officials or government agencies, and more particular presentations on suicide prevention. I'm very, very passionate about that topic, crisis communications or de-escalation, and sometimes also just like positive psychology kind of concepts to essentially teach people or help them find their purpose, their why, and how to continue to become their better self as a move through life. So overall, it's basically one-on-one consulting, counseling, life coaching, and then also trainings and presentations for just about anyone related to the topics that I just described. I do have an office space in Appleton. I can tell that it's the rare occasion when I do use my office space there, simply because I'm continuously driving throughout the state, and sometimes I do have to travel out of state in order to provide some of these supports.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. And in this space, okay, I mean, it's our time is winding up. I mean, I can literally sit and talk to you for hours because I want to go deeper into this. But I know that we have to get ready to go. But before we get out of here, is there anything else you would like to add or to share with other entrepreneurs, your supporters, any words of advice that you would like to share?
Yeah, I appreciate that, Ramona. And one of the things that comes to mind and that really put me in this position is that don't shy away from collaborating with others. Don't shy away from reaching out, for help with folks that might and do know more than us, right? Like, just learn from that and continue to enhance your network. Networking is so important, and I became, even more aware of that once I moved into my private practice. The idea here is that when you are truly doing something, or you are really engaging in something that you really love, you're passionate about, and you really feel that you have something there, I truly believe that others will be your best advocates. I don't necessarily have to go and tell every single person that I want to do work with as to look at me, look at all the wonderful things I'm doing. If you're truly doing great work out there and you truly believe in yourself and what it is that you're doing and what you can offer to others, many times those relationships that you can build and those networks that you have, they become your strongest advocates. They become your referral systems for other folks that may be considering working with you. So don't lose sight of that collaboration, and don't lose sight of the networking opportunities that you do have, again, to propel you into the next stage of your life. If it is that you're trying to explore opportunities as an entrepreneur, as a small business owner.
Thank you so much. And so, Nacho, if anyone wanted to know more, get to talk to you, get to connect to you, how would a person go about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the best ways to connect with me is to go on my website, www.ascentwisconsin or ascentwi.com. You can reach out to me there. All my contact information is there, and certainly we can connect that way. I'm also very active on LinkedIn. So Ignacio Enriquez or Ascent Wisconsin on LinkedIn. I'm very, very active there. So either my website or LinkedIn is probably the best way to reach out to me and connect with me.
Well, truly, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us on the EoC Spotlight. And we really look forward to being able to connect and learn more about you as well. So, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you so much for the invitation, Ramona, and it was truly a wonderful time having this conversation with you. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Well, we will see you soon. Y'all, that was amazing. I really enjoyed my time talking with Nacho. And of course, y'all, if you know any business owners or if you are yourself a business owner, entrepreneur of color, and you would like to be spotlighted, please reach out to us. Definitely, if you have not already, please make sure to follow us on Facebook. You can also like us and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And on both platforms, we are at EoC Spotlight, and then definitely being able to connect. So we truly thank you. We thank each and every one of our partners, each and every one of our sponsors, and we thank each and every one of you for supporting the EoC Spotlight and sharing the information out. And so we just truly appreciate you. And until next time, we'll see y'all.